Disclaimer. This is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. The story intentionally contains factual inaccuracies and absurdities as part of its artistic expression.
Jeff and Apples walk the street, talking about the sky so neat. Weather, weapons causing storms, globalists with secret forms. Jeff and Apples, what a pair. Whisper plots while breathing air. Apocalypse is on its way, but they still find time to play. But they still find time to play. But they still find time to play.
How you doing today, Apples? Oh, pretty good. A little embarrassed. I put on a lot of weight while you were gone. I kind of missed you. Wasn't really anything to do but eat. I think I kind of doubled in size. I'm gonna take a little pee here. What are we gonna talk about today? Sabbatean death cult, psyops, Jews. You got it, Apples. Oh, it is so nice to be back in Mexico after another month of travel. Come back and Apples is like double the size. I guess she was eating a lot. We got Weckham's though. Let's see what happens. So nice to get back in my plasma bath, my hyperbaric chamber. I'm feeling incredible. Just got back and already feeling incredible. Just had another hurricane pass by, but I had my weather buster and it didn't hit us. I don't know where they sent that one. Probably Puerto Vallarta, because we're gonna have an Acapulco there next year. It's my life. Anyway, we should get into this. Oh, I should mention that we were kind of back on YouTube. Our original channel, of course, was deleted in 2020 as soon as I told everyone about the COVIDs and lethal injections. And but we started a new one, I don't know, a year ago or so. And we'd put up videos and they'd take them down, and they actually banned us for the last 3 months. But actually our unban came off again right as soon as this latest psyop started with the Charlie Kirk stuff. So that was great timing for us, but they already deleted our last video. Oh, hi, Dollar Vigilante. It looks like the CIA Mossad replaced Charlie Kirk with J.D. Vance and Ben Shapiro. Right goes cancel culture. Didn't follow community guidelines. To help keep our community safe, we have removed your video from YouTube. What we found? We think your content didn't follow our harassment policy. You can see example at around 132.32, although there could be other instances. I went and looked at the video and I was talking about how the government's trying to kill everyone. I guess that's harassment now. But interestingly is right after that happened and they took that video down, this came out. Google admits censorship under Biden, promises to end bans of YouTube accounts of thousands of Americans censored for political speech. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on that one, but by the way, if you are seeing this on YouTube, if we can post this video, you should definitely make sure you get on our mailing list at dollarvigilante.com. Just go there, type in your email. Every time we have a new video, we'll send you an email. Or you can just go and make sure you've bookmarked vigilante.tv. That's where we put all our videos. Or if you want to find us on BitChute, dollarvigilante.com/BitChute. Or on Rumble, dollarvigilante.com/Rumble. But anyway, let's get into this. There's so much. They're trying to kill us conspiracy theorists by overworking us to death because there's been so much for years, since the COVID. There's been 5 years. And I don't know if you noticed, I haven't missed like a week because I got the Tesla machine. I got like incredible energy. As soon as we were back, I was like just totally fine. No jet lag, nothing. But anyway, let's get into this. So it's been about 2 weeks now since the Charlie Kirk Psyop, and I can confidently say now that it 100% is a psychological operation. Of course, at the very beginning, I didn't know exactly for sure because it just happened. And in my second video, I was becoming very, okay, this is quite clearly a CIA Mossad operation. And now I've had even more time to look at it, and I'm actually coming around to, because a lot of people have been saying it's all fake. Even Charlie Kirk, he's not dead. It was all staged. And would it be any surprise whatsoever? Mossad went on 60 Minutes and said this is what they do.
We're the directors, we're the producers, we're the main actors, and the world is our stage.
And I said in my last couple of videos, I hadn't seen enough evidence yet that it was completely staged, like 100%, everything, none of it was true. But now I've seen quite a bit, and I'm definitely coming around to that idea. I wouldn't say I'm 100% convinced of it, but there's lots of evidence now. Now that we're starting to dig up lots more video and see what actually happened, and you know, they've got like Hollywood people that have like the blood packs and everything, so that wouldn't be that surprising if they did that. I also found it very interesting because you can see it from numerous different angles. He gets shot and you see this blood pouring out of his neck. But then afterwards, there's like no blood anywhere. So there's so many anomalies with that.
He was shot in the neck, as we saw, and he fell backwards. We would see the wound on his neck first, and then we would see his body jump, and possibly some of his clothing move, but something's clearly underneath his shirt. That is very clear to see. That is popping up. Watch again. In his shirt, as he falls over. Okay, ready? Move back, rewind, watch again. Pump, opposite way. Now forward, pump, up, out of his actual shirt. So there's clearly a mechanism in place.
Is this guy that guy? Compare their faces. He won 6 Emmy Awards, makeup artist and special effects. This is an artificial created neck. Here, make a hole for the hose. This one here. Or maybe this one here. The camera looks different. Look at the attachment. Look at the reflection of the smartphone. Looks like reload and action. If the carotid arteria are hit, you would lose red fluid the whole time, but not a single drop on the ground. Only a small portion of red fluid on the table visible. The tent is white, no red fluid, but a hypersonic body would pass through like butter. Maybe that's why they want to get the camera, the attachment as fast as possible.
And then, since my last video, Kash Patel, which I spell with a C, or you can call him Cash App Patel, who's another just total liar, total promoting the system sort of a person. Remember when he said he wanted to shut down the FBI? Well, he came out and said after they found Charlie Kirk in 33 hours,
the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours. 33 to be precise.
You starting to see all this yet? Do you have eyes to see, ears to hear? And then he said that he'll see Charlie Kirk, not in heaven or not something like that, but in Valhalla.
These connections keep getting weirder and weirder. So right at the end of this press conference where Kash Patel announces that they caught Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, Kash Patel ends it with Charlie Kirk, I'll see you in Valhalla.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Now, what's interesting is that one of the pictures that they put out of Tyler Robinson shows Tyler Robinson in his bedroom next to his computer. On the computer is a picture of an island. That island is called Goat Island, and it's located in New Zealand that has a retreat called Valhalla. Isn't that weird? That's just weird.
So that was interesting. So if you go look up Valhalla Witness Protection Program, Valhalla Motion Pictures is developing a film titled Nameless, which is set in a top-secret facility operated by the U.S. Marshals Federal Witness Protection Program. The program itself, known as WITSEC, is designed to protect threatened witnesses and their families during legal proceedings. And if you go to the Go Ask AI, is Valhalla related? Yes, Valhalla relates to the U.S. Marshals Service Witness Protection Program. Valhalla is the place where the U.S. Marshals take people into the witness security program. They're protected there for a while before they go to their newly assigned locations. They drop all kinds of hints and clues. It's just incredible. And I think the thing that people still can't get their head around, most people, maybe you can, most people can't, because to get your head around it, it's mind-boggling how many people are involved in all this stuff and how they do it so well. And it's all in operation. And basically, that's what all these governments really are, especially the bigger ones, the US government and stuff like that. They're all controlled by the same people. And they're just constantly doing all these things. And they'll do things, blame it on this group. They'll do it to distract you from something else. It's just like nonstop. 9/11, all this sort of stuff. World War II, all of them. They're so good at what they do and so evil that your average person can't get their head around it. I'm not saying Charlie Kirk is not dead, but there's a lot of reason to think that he might not be. Not that I really care, because if you think about this, what's actually going on? You've got this unbelievably evil group who's basically got most people enslaved on Earth and got them brainwashed. And whether they killed Charlie Kirk or not, they did this. This was all an operation. And I'll get into this. We got another hour and a half probably going to talk about that. I got lots of evidence, lots of information. It's very, very clear. And I don't think your average person even can still get their head around it, because if they did, if they could, they would stop listening to any of these people ever, all of them. Every single politician, everyone on the mainstream media, they'd stop paying their taxes, they'd stop hopefully using their currency, and they'd probably, because a lot of people are quite violent, probably go and like hang all these people, like all of them. But they still can't get their head around it. They still think that, you know, some of these people are the good guys. And I've heard like the Q stuff, which to me, and there's lots of evidence of it, is a CIA operation as well. That's how good they are. They've got operations. They've got $1 trillion budgets. This is what they're stealing most of your money for. And they've got like black ops on black ops. They got like, you know, when ISIS was fighting Al-Qaeda in Syria, that was like the CIA's guys versus the military guys, the US military. You hear all the time about people in the US where there's like an undercover cop like tries to trap another undercover cop but doesn't know he's an undercover cop, and he's with the CIA and the other guy's with the FBI, and there's so many of them and they're all over the place and they're doing all these things. This world would actually be so peaceful without all this stuff that they all do all the time. But anyway, since people haven't still figured out like even 10% of this stuff, but they are starting to figure out some of it. So that's kind of cool. It's the apocalypse, the lifting of the veil. Let's just go through some of this stuff and see if anyone ever figures this stuff out. And since my last video, one of the biggest things was people were noticing there was no exit wound. And we'll get into the size of the bullet that they say it was. Like, it's impossible that he would get shot in the neck and it would not go through his neck. And then the mainstream media came out with all their propaganda. Here's Fox News. Surgeon says Charlie Kirk's body stopped bullet in absolute miracle. That saved others. Oh, he saved others. Charlie Kirk's final miracle revealed by surgeon who examined fatal neck wound. Oh, is that his final miracle? He did so many miracles. Or that didn't happen, what they said. And that is 100% obvious. A lot of people have figured that part out, but they haven't got their heads around that it's the entire CIA, government, FBI, it's all of them. Like, not every single person in it, but they're doing all this stuff. And why are they doing it? To try to destroy everything, distract, keep all their operations going. This time we can call it the miraculous bullet theory. The CIA probably. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. What a neck.
What happened here was a miracle, and I want you to fucking acknowledge it. All right, it was a miracle. Can we go now?
Here's Ian Smith. The people who believe that Charlie Kirk's neck bone stopped at 30.06 are the same people who believe that the bullet to the right of it just left a small scratch on Trump's ear. Look at the size of those bullets. Like, that bullet is massive that they say stopped in Charlie Kirk's neck. And then, of course, to the right of it, you've got the one that just nicked Donald Trump's ear. So many magic bullets. He's starting to get it yet. All of this stuff, all of it, it's all lies and it's all operations. And none of it's what they say it is, ever. Not even close. But they're so good at what they do. You almost, like, you got to respect how good they are at what they do. Because they throw in so many things, like they plan these things so well. That's why I think, really, it's not even coming from a human source. And that's what Christoph Melchizedek talks about as well, is that basically a non-human entity has basically created this matrix here, and it's trying to, like, siphon off all the energy from humans using things like fear and worry and depression and all the sort of low vibrational energy, which it continues to try to cause. But there's so many, there's so many things with this. Like, for example, the kid that they said took the shot, which there's no evidence of whatsoever, which I'll get into. They did post a photo of him, and it's a photo of him, and right behind him is a Superman poster. And the White House posted that Charlie Kirk is Superman. Tyler Robinson is the tranny kid who doesn't look like a tranny at all, spotted with a Superman poster behind him. The surgeon who worked on Charlie Kirk just said he's like the Man of Steel. Superman is known as the Man of Steel. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable, miraculous. Yeah, very miraculous. Like I said, a fair amount of people are questioning this, which is great. And one of the questions is, okay, there was so many cameras there, including the camera right behind Charlie Kirk, and they actually had the camera, and they released the footage, just like with the 9/11 footage. They released the 3 frames of the airplane hitting the pentagram, which doesn't have an airplane in it. And with this one, they don't release any of the video footage of anyone taking a shot, because there wasn't anyone, and we'll get into that. But clearly, from the angle that it had, you would easily be able to see it. But they didn't even come close to ever releasing that footage.
Doesn't really matter whether you're into politics or not, you probably saw a variation of this video sometime over the last week. It was unavoidable. It was all over social media. And now the FBI is using that to their advantage. Because this is the CCTV footage that the FBI released to the public showing the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk running across the rooftop, presumably after he fired the fatal shot. Now let me ask you, what's missing from this footage? Of course, it is the shot itself. We don't see it, we only see him running. The trick here is that they know we've seen many variations of this, so our brain will naturally fill in the blanks. They don't need to show us the rest because this must be the guy because he's running. But did we actually see him take the shot? No. The corner of this building is where they told us Tyler Robinson supposedly took the shot from, and it is fully in view of this camera. So you have to ask yourself, why did they deliberately start the footage at this point in time? Why not rewind 5 or 10 seconds and show him in this prone position pulling the trigger? Could it be because it would complicate the rest of the story here?
Yeah, the shot was taken from there, but they only show us the video footage of the suspect running on this half of the roof. And by the way, there's the video where they show him running. That he has a shadow, and then he all of a sudden doesn't have a shadow. It looks totally fake. And whether he was killed or not, it's very interesting, the actual setup of the location. I mentioned this before, but I think it's worth mentioning it again. It's set up exactly like that Jewish menorah thing, or whatever they call it. Like exactly.
Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question. You know, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything. That maybe we shouldn't believe everything.
Here too, but they got Charlie Kirk, and it's just heartbreaking.
Who was they, BB? Who was they who got Charlie Kirk?
And I've mentioned a few of the very strange things all around Charlie Kirk, like his bodyguards, who were Israeli bodyguards, all of a sudden doing like hand signs and stuff, like right just the second before he got shot. And then we showed there was like the super CIA looking guy, all with his like total bloodlust, just like smiling, and looks like he kind of shoots Charlie Kirk. But there's more.
This might be the real shooter of Charlie Kirk. A few minutes after the shooting of Charlie Kirk, a strange-looking man appeared, wearing a black suit and a glove on his right hand. But we'll get to him shortly. If you look closely, you can see what appears to be a bullet coming from Charlie's right side and hitting him in the neck. You can also spot the muzzle flash at the exact moment the shot is heard.
Like, was anyone who was there not a CIA / FBI / Mossad person? Like, the whole audience was, and they're all doing it. Like, it was insane. And so you have the latest one, and that one makes a fair amount of sense as well. And that one's coming from Charlie's right side. And it's interesting because one of the Turning Point kids was asked, and he starts to mention that he heard or saw or something the shot come from Charlie's right, not from his left. And look what the other Turning Point, some of the other Turning Point people do. They like totally try to shut him up.
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I saw hit, I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck, down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Deb, we're not doing it. I'm sorry. Get off me! Get off me!
And then another angle, right after it looks like Charlie was shot, it looks like a table or a chair goes right through a table like it's a green screen or a CGI video. Well, that's strange. A lot of strange things. There was also a trap door right under Charlie. There's some people saying that the actual thing came up through there. But if you ask the FBI, they're like, no, it's just this tranny kid. He had a note, but he wrote it, but then it disappeared and we don't have it. And he took his rifle and packed it up into his backpack and hid in the... It doesn't make any sense. It's incredible. But, you know, I'm sure the FBI is looking into it. But what's interesting is Kash Patel fired the top people at the FBI in Salt Lake City, where it was, just like a week before. So clearly the security guys were in on it. There was like a CIA Mossad guy over here. There was another one over there. There was the guy with the, like, I think they do these I think they know that we're going to see a lot of this, and I think they're just having fun now. They're like, let them just try to figure it all out. And I think probably, like, the most likely thing in my mind is he's probably not even dead. Like, that's how, like, if they're going to do all this, just think about it. If they're doing all that, which they clearly are, would it be that hard for their Hollywood people to have, like, a blood pack thing? Because it's weird, because like it looked like blood gushed out right after, but then there was no blood on the ground afterwards, which you'd think there would be, right? That's supposedly his major artery. You'd think he's bleeding out. There apparently was no blood the whole way. They drove him to the hospital. They said there was no blood. But who knows? Who knows? But this is so insane. Not to mention Charlie Kirk was on with another Jew, Bill Maher, and they were laughing about how they both use Israeli security guards, or security.
Of course, it was wedged between the two giant Israeli bodyguards the whole way.
If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
Exactly. So it was not the vacation I planned, but...
Yeah, a bunch of Israelis involved again. Seems to be the case. I'll get into that a little bit later as well. Seems to be the case a lot. And meanwhile, a fair amount of people, not a lot though. Like, I haven't seen a lot of people like believing the story, but the thing is they're just like, well, Kash Patel might just not be smart enough. He didn't know this. You see people on X are like, hey, Kash, look at this guy, the CIA guy doing that thing. Like Kash is reading it like, oh, I didn't know that. No, they're all in on it. How much they even tell Kash, who knows? Like, he's basically an idiot. Like, he may not even know exactly, but he's told to do all these things. Like, go fire the Utah FBI people right before the event so no one can look into it. Then we'll have our guys tell you what happened. Yeah, it was this tranny kid with a rifle, and it was a unregistered rifle from, like, pre-World War I era and stuff, so you can't even trace it. And who knows? Like, I don't know exactly all the details, but this is clearly like an operation. But there is some people who are just, it's incredible, because they were starting to get it. With the COVIDs, they're like, yeah, the government's lying to us. The mainstream media is lying to us. Then they get in their guys, and they're like, yeah, now Trump's in, and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And they're all like, well, the Epstein stuff's a hoax. Which, by the way, hear anyone talk about the Epstein stuff for the last 2 weeks? Another kind of very fortunate thing for them that such a big event happened. And but some people just believe that because they're under basically mind control. They've been told their whole lives, you know, the government, they got all their cop shows, their CSI, crime scene investigation, which there was nothing like that for this. I'll get into that too. I got so much to talk about. And they believe these guys are actually trying to look into it. The Epstein cover-up crew told me it was just a crazy 22-year-old lone wolf leftist, and I believe them. Make America great again. Then you got another actress, Pam Blondy, who's a psychopath. And when asked about it, she's like, oh yeah, I was a radical leftist. That's the problem. Got to get all this left-right stuff all riled up.
Yes, who killed Charlie? Left-wing radicals, and they will be held accountable. So will anyone in this country who commits a violent crime against anyone. And the death penalty, thanks to Donald Trump, is on the table again.
But it's clearly not that. So all these people are just liars, actors. That's the thing that people still don't get. It's because of mind control for their entire lives that they think all this stuff is like legitimate and not actually an incredibly smart and well organized and super evil group that keeps doing all of these things to keep causing all this chaos. And here's something interesting. I talked about this George Zinn guy who was at 9/11. He saw the planes hit the towers. He was there when Charlie Kirk supposedly got shot in the neck. Oh, by the way, I don't think it was the Boston Marathon bombing he was at, but he was at a Salt Lake Marathon. He phoned in a bomb threat or something. But anyway, here's something interesting. So that he comes out right away and says, I shot him. Like, who does that? Like, if you didn't shoot someone and someone just got shot, it looks like, what kind of person goes, it was me? You kind of have to be kind of crazy, or a crisis actor sent there to do that, just like you were with numerous others in the past. But here's something really bizarre. Charlie Kirk assassination, man who allegedly faked Kirk killing confession, gets child porn charge. George Zinn was arrested at the scene of the September 10th shooting at Utah Valley University after shouting, I shot him, now shoot me. He later told investigators he faked the confession to help the real suspect escape. According to a probable cause statement, well, maybe someone might want to ask him who the real suspect was. Oh, he's working with the tranny kid? Is that what he's doing? Authorities said an investigation into Zinn led to the discovery of explicit material on his phone, including more than 20 images of children between the ages of 5 and 12. Court records also cite graphic messages in which Zinn admitted to being aroused by the material. So that's what I'm talking about. The CIA, FBI people send in their patsy guy who distracts everyone and gets everyone to think it's a crazy leftist sort of a thing. But then he gets kind of arrested by another government person, and they're looking through his phone. They're like, hey, there's child porn on here. And it shouldn't be terribly surprising. George Zinn is Jewish. Now, I'm not saying all Jewish people are into pedophilia. I definitely don't think that's the case. I don't know for sure. I can't know that for sure. Oh no. There's the queen. But it's not all Jews, but many.
Not all, but many.
So with you being a rabbi, a teacher, an instructor to young children, how can you tell me that you're not a threat? If you're willing to meet a 14-year-old for sex, you drove all the way down here.
Yeah, that was very stupid to do.
Very stupid, right?
Yeah, extremely.
You wanted to bottom? What does that mean? What does bottom mean? I'm not familiar with this term. What does that mean?
Okay. That means,
explain it.
That means the active person is the guy on top and the bottom is the one.
And you wanted a bottom? Yeah. You wanted a 14-year-old to put his penis inside you? That's what you wanted?
Yeah, extremely uncomfortable.
Another one. Freaking teacher, guys. A rabbi.
If you want more evidence that this was all an operation, normally in the US, when you hear about a school shooting, which is almost always the FBI/CIA/Mossad, they're all the same thing. That's another thing that people don't get. They're all the same thing. And when you see it, man, it's like lockdown. There's like thousands of emergency vehicles arrive, police, ambulances, fire guys, and they have it like locked down, like the whole day, usually. But in this case, this has happened at a university, and a guy looks like he got shot in the neck. So we have an active shooter, and nothing came, like nothing, zero.
Does this look like a normal critical incident response from a university that has emergency services public safety programs and has its own police force? No one's being evacuated. No one's told to shelter in place, not behavior you'd expect to see after a live shooter just murdered a political figure. Head of security, right after Kirk was shot. Just hanging out.
It was like there was no cops. Like you never see that in the U.S. Like there's that university has its own police force. No one went, and then after so Charlie gets shot in the neck, they say, gets whisked off. So not even an ambulance or anything. And then the people who work with them, like, just start taking down their stuff. They got their banners and their 47 hats, their 347 hats, which means 11, 11, 11, 33.
I wanted to ask you, when you were there, you're walking around obviously in a backpack, and if you guys haven't checked that out, I'd go check out some of George's recent lives, because I mean, you're literally walking around this entire plaza area. You're all over campus. There's students that are just they're just going about their normal day. I mean, did you have a chance to talk with any students? Did anybody question you like, hey, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, mainly in this building is where I got most of the intercepts. There was a lot of police still in this building. A lot of, hey, let me check your ID. What are you doing here? There are a lot of police cars going into this. This is the student center. And this area, that little deck is sort of like a teacher's lounge or whatever that's not open to the normal students. So I couldn't get to that. I tried to film it. But I talked to a lot of students and I said, has anybody asked you for your camera? You know, were you at the event? Yeah, I was at the event. Has anybody asked you for your film? No. Really? I'm like, and then I would ask them and then they're like, no, they were told not to give reporters our film.
What?
Yes. And they were filming all the students. There was a camera. I got pictures of it all. There were people filming from CBS, ABC, and it's all about them. They're the victims. They had to see this. And so they're going through their trauma. They're going through their counseling. How did you survive it? Did he have it coming? Questions like that, because he was an agitator, right? It wasn't free speech. He was an agitator. Why did it take this long for somebody to act? You know, questions like that. You can't believe some of the mainstream reporting would make your blood boil, you know. So I spent my almost week there just talking to everybody, and most people didn't want to be filmed.
And they're like, well, I guess our boss there, Charlie's dead. Guess we should take down this stuff and start packing up. That's basically what they did.
Yeah, I witnessed okay, just stay back in the grass as much as possible. The guy who was arrested, I got a photo of. Yeah.
The entire time, no yellow tape, no cops to be seen. It was just a bunch of Charlie's security guys just started taking all the evidence down, the camera, take out the SD cards, no cops to be seen the entire time. And then soon after, they paved over the whole thing and just paved over it. There was no crime scene, nothing.
This is the courtyard where it all happened. It's now open to the public again. There's lots of people coming here, placing flowers, cards, things like that. The university is already making some changes. They're replacing the grass where Charlie Kirk was speaking with pavers. And there are several petitions online asking the school to make this into a permanent memorial for Charlie Kirk.
So clearly this is like an operation. And even the people who have a lot of doubts about it, though, they don't get who's all involved in it. It's like everybody. Trump, all of them. Actually, there's tons of evidence of that. And so then they decide to have a memorial funeral in a stadium with like all the people who are basically involved in killing Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump, JD Vance, Elon Musk is there. And it was like, well, before I get into that, I should mention that it was very interesting, the date, because that's how smart. See, that's the thing why people can't get their head around it. People don't realize what all of this is, all of it. You, me, all of it. None of this is real. But in this matrix, in this fever dream we're all having, there is an entity as part of this 3D video game that is so smart and does things on exact dates and exact times with solar eclipses and stuff, and that's what happened. So they had this massive, massive event, which was seen by, it was like a Super Bowl size audience. It was basically a political rally. I'll get into that in a second. But it happened on the day of a solar eclipse. Very interesting, because that's, you know, the things that do all this are all about that stuff. And not only that, they had it in Phoenix, which is where I think Charlie lived. And Phoenix is on the 33rd degree latitude.
The solar eclipse ritual on the 33rd ley line. The Templar meridians, which are the secret dragon lines. Charlie Memorial happening on the eclipse. And the eclipse is part of the Templar meridians for the different turning points of the sun and the moon and the different 19-year cycles. Every 19.5 years, something big goes down. The symbols of the eclipse, as you can see in this painting by Rene, and you see the tripod. Here's the tripod with George Washington laying the cornerstone, faces east for the sun, because the tripod is an ancient symbol and it is used to find eclipses with the meridians and the different ley lines. The solar and lunar eclipses mapped out by these stone circles. This was the geomagnetic ley line that had a lot of energy in it, but also was able to predict when the eclipses were going to happen. The Knights Templars came into America. Here's Rhode Island, where they actually have a Templar construction. It has 3 windows. The sun is at one of the windows because this is how they were able to map out the eclipse. Astrologers use this term, turning point. Solar turning point is the September equinox coming up on the 22nd. It's the new year with the sun. And the different 8 cardinal turning points, which is where you get the rose compass, which is the sun logo, has the 32 spokes. That goes back to the rose compass. So the roses, the compasses, the eclipses, the astrological alignments, and the ley lines are very important to uncovering the secrets of the ancient meridian.
So that's interesting. So this is supposed to be like a memorial for Charlie Kirk, who had just died. Kind of interesting, like no one from his family was there except his wife. Kind of more striking, who didn't speak at Charlie Kirk's funeral. Neither of his parents, no siblings, no old friends, just his wife, Tucker Carlson, who's CIA Mason, and a whole lineup of Trump people. He maybe knew getting in their agenda talking points. He really was worth more to MAGA dead than alive. And that's the point. They basically made Charlie into like a Jesus type figure again, just like they tried to do with Trump with the magic bullet. Whether Charlie's dead or not, that's essentially what they did. And then, who's all speaking at it? It's like the U.S. government. Who killed Charlie? The U.S. government. That's the part that people still can't see. It's incredible. But if you can see it, it all looks so bizarre. Like, I didn't watch any of it, but I saw some clips. And every clip I saw, to me, it's like it's like I'm on LSD or something. It all looks bizarre. Like, you got Trump standing there with Charlie Kirk's wife, and, you know, her husband was just murdered. And they're singing like a God Bless America. To me, this gives off such like Soviet Union vibes. Like, it just looks bizarre. The whole thing was like a mix of like Soviet Union / Nazi Germany propaganda sort of a event, fake event, mixed with like a World Wrestling or what do they call it? WEF or something now? I don't know what they call it. I still call it WWE or WWF. Oh, that's what they call it, WWE, yeah. It used to be called WWF, I think. But anyway, the rest of it looked like it was like a World Wrestling Federation sort of a thing. Like the wife of Charlie Kirk comes out, her husband just got killed, comes out like she's like Steve Austin gonna go fight Hulk Hogan or something.
Hello?
Yeah, who has fireworks at their funeral? The whole thing was bizarre. But it's not that bizarre when you know what it actually was. It was like a big event to try to fool people into thinking that something happened that didn't, basically, and get them all voting. Like it was like a big political rally for like 8 hours. And I didn't know anything about Charlie Kirk's wife. I barely knew anything about Charlie Kirk. But I've learned quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. But just like so many of these people, like almost all the people that you know that are public figures, that are supposedly like, you know, political talkers and stuff like that, they're all actors, including Charlie Kirk's wife.
President Trump. I am a huge supporter of his. When I saw President Trump say the things that he said yesterday, I thought, exactly, that is the man I voted for. We voted for the wall.
Donald Trump is the best president we've ever had.
In 2017, it was revealed that Waters had become involved with a much younger associate producer at Fox News, Emma DiGiovine. The affair was made public.
Erica Francevay, Arizona.
Yeah, Erica Francevay Kirk won Miss Arizona 2012, a Trump-owned pageant. She then became casting director and started multiple nonprofit orphanages, including Romanian Angels, which was embedded in claims of trafficking of children and organ trafficking to the UK, Israel, and undisclosed islands. Her father worked for the Department of Defense and chaired Raytheon's Israeli division. Both her parents are prominent Zionists. And this person says, at this point it's clear, at the very least, she acted as a honeypot. Charlie's political machine is now transferred to a controlled asset. Erica.
2012 wins Miss Arizona competes in Miss USA, a pageant owned by ... Trump. Okay, want to know something really weird? So she had said in a podcast that she had never competed in pageants and had never done any modeling before, until one day she receives an invitation in the mail to become a model and start doing pageants. And the pageants that she started doing were Miss USA pageants owned by Trump. So she modeled for Trump. She was one of Trump's pageant girls. But did you know that she was also a casting director at the same time that she was doing all of this stuff for Trump? Now, she doesn't specify on her website if she worked as a casting director for Trump, but around the time that she was claiming to be a casting director, she also owned a ministry that was working with the U.S. military in Romania. The area in Romania where she was operating this ministry had a bunch of locals accusing these evangelical ministries of kidnapping children and trafficking them out of the country. These children were being found in the UK, in Israel, and were also being sent to undisclosed private islands. Locals demanded authorities look into it, but they never did. Now, Charlie Kirk really wanted the Epstein files released, but did his wife? Prior to marrying Charlie Kirk, she was a multi-millionaire on her own, and since his passing, she's also amassed all of his wealth plus an additional at least $5 million in donations. She's currently considered the most powerful woman in the United States, with mega fans begging her to run as vice president in 2028. Let's talk about their first date, because it was actually a job interview. Back in 2018, 2 years after Donald Trump had started working with Charlie Kirk had hosted a Turning Point USA opening event for one of the offices that they had opened. And Erica and Charlie Kirk were introduced to each other. Charlie Kirk instantly thought that she was beautiful, but thought that she was really smart. And allegedly, one of their mutuals had suggested that Charlie Kirk hire Erica. I'm assuming it was Donald Trump or someone on his team, because Donald Trump had signed on to work with Charlie Kirk, and Erica was already one of Donald Trump's employees. So it would make the most sense for Donald Trump and his team to encourage Charlie Kirk to hire Donald Trump's employees. Anyways, Charlie Kirk DM'd Erica, invited her for a job interview. The job interview ended up turning into a date.
Yeah, she's like the most embedded in government stuff. Of course, Charlie Kirk was too. Like, he was basically created by AIPAC. He got like hundreds of millions of dollars in donations. It's insane. Now, whether he started to change and they killed him, or it was always part of the plan to do this and stage his death, I don't know. Either one, I'd be open to. I guess we'll probably see in the future. It'll probably become more clear in the future. But really interesting that his wife, she also went to a Jesuit school. like how, like this, she's like as deep state as it gets. Then while she's on stage with Trump, she's flashing the horns, which some people say also means I love you, but kind of interesting. They usually will flash their stuff and say, no, it's just, it means something else. So this thing goes on for like 8 hours. And Trump goes on stage and calls Charlie, drumroll please, a master builder.
This is the turning point, and they've left us so many clues. It should be so obvious now. Freemasons. Donald Trump is now doing his talk at Charlie Kirk's funeral, and listen to what he says here.
I got to know him very well, and saw immediately that Charlie was actually a master builder of people.
He is a master builder.
Charlie was actually a master builder of people.
What does that mean? Freemason, master builder. Freemasonry is an ancient and honourable fraternity. The Master Builder is a title bestowed upon those who have demonstrated their commitment to the principles of Freemasonry and to their brothers in craft. Freemasonry has been in existence for centuries, and its members have had a profound influence on the development of our society. The Master Builder is a title of great respect, honouring members who have contributed significantly to the advancement of Freemasonry by their dedication and hard work. The Master Builder is a symbol of excellence and dedication to the craft, exemplifying leadership qualities, dedication to the service and devotion to the cause of Masonry. People find that hard to accept. That shooting was staged. You saw all the clues left for us. You saw the hats on the table, 3 of them. 47. That's 11 times 3, it's 33. Charlie Kirk's name, C, is 3, K is 11. Patel said that they had the man in custody for 33.
To the family of Charlie Kirk, in honor of his memory, I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump. In 33 hours.
And if you listen to the numbers all added up at the court case for Tyler Robinson.
To the judge.
Polling case 251-403-576. State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson.
33. I don't know how much more obvious we can make it. They've been leaving clues in plain sight for us, but we're now about to find out the truth when it comes to Freemasonry and all the good people that have been fighting for our freedoms against evil from this world. They're all about to come out from the shadows, and we're about to see the truth in plain sight.
So that's Trump, one of the top people in the Epstein files. And then you have Jack Posobiec, who's one of the guys who came out with the Epstein file binders originally. He's like a Zionist media sort of a guy. He came on and said this was a sacrifice, which is kind of an interesting way to put it.
Well, I say to you that a century from now, when they write of the 2 or 3 pivotal moments that led to the saving of Western civilization, they will write that the sacrifice of Charles James Kirk was the turning point.
Then Tucker Carlson came on, who's a Mason and CIA. This is like a big Mason CIA show, and Mossad. Like everyone speaking there was that. And who, if Charlie Kirk's dead, who killed him? CIA, Masons, Mossad, basically. It's incredible. How can people not see this? But Tucker Carlson, of course, got to be a little bit, he's got to say a bit of the truth. That's, part of what they do is controlled opposition. So he kind of dropped a little thing about how the Jews killed Jesus and how this is kind of what happened here. But look at Charlie Kirk was a friend of his. This is how Tucker Carlson looked the whole time. Does that look like someone really sad? They're just having the greatest time. Like they were all just laughing. You had Elon Musk up in the private box like it's a sports ball event. They're both flashing their gang signs for everyone. Yeah, they're all there to celebrate another successful operation. Meanwhile, outside, tons of merchandise being sold. Does that sound like a funeral to you? Tons of booths trying to get everyone to vote. Yeah, Charlie's dead. Get out and vote. That's what we got to do. We got to stop this. And then the U.S. military had to get in on this. The Pentagram officials are considering launching a nationwide military recruiting campaign in Charlie Kirk's name. Yeah, okay. Oh, and they just announced the coming Turning Point speaking events coming up without Charlie Kirk, of course. Of course, they've had J.D. Vance of Palantir and the U.S. government hosting a show on the first day. Then they had Mossad agent Ben Shapiro hosting on the second day. And now they've released this list of all their coming talks. Yeah, Virginia Tech, we're going to have Megyn Kelly, who's like a CIA propagandist, and the governor. The government will be there. Then Utah State, you're going to have the senator, the governor, the representative. The government will be speaking. Then in Montana State, you got Vivek Ramaswamy, who's also a government guy, and Governor Gray. It's a government thing. The University of North Dakota, they got CIA/Mason Glenn Beck. They haven't announced for Oklahoma yet. They're going to have CIA Mason Tucker Carlson in Indiana. They're going to have the governor of Louisiana. So if I ever get shot in the neck on a live stream, if you see Ben Shapiro out here walking around with apples, wait, you're not going to. My wife is not Charlie Kirk's wife. My wife would handle that. But that's basically what it is. It's the government. The government kills him, and then the government's taking over his show, and now the government's speaking at all of his events in the future. And I'm sure they're going to mention how important Israel is as our greatest ally. We're having too much fun out here. But, and then there's also all kinds of weird stuff. The U.S. government's also having like a Martin Luther King Day for Charlie Kirk, which is interesting because the CIA also killed Martin Luther King. This is very well known. Now the CIA / Mossad / the FBI killed Charlie Kirk, and they're going to have a Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. And it's very interesting. They did it on, I think, October 14th. And there's like a Coldplay song about October 14th that ties all into it, which to me, this is just one of those 3D video games, sort of like Easter eggs.
So I tell my wife that it's officially Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day on October 14th. And you know what she says to me? She says, oh, like the song. Like the song. It was the 14th of October and that t-shirt off your shoulder. You took my hand and we pretended like I was your guy.
I love you. I know. I love you.
Oh, when I tried to guess your middle name, do you know just a few short days ago I heard that his middle name was James and his middle name was James, so I decided that I would guess what the middle name was of the Utah governor. And did you guess it like I did? That's right. Middle name. I tried to guess your middle name. And you know what the next line is? For 30 minutes, we played that game. J, the 10th letter of the alphabet. 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 30. For 30 minutes, we played that game. And that Coldplay song you were singing, this song was written in 2017. And Coldplay just happened to make a pretty big splash in the news recently. Taking shots like it was nothing. Do I even need to go there? Oh, and all the shots from there and shots from there, that's just muddying the waters so you don't know it was fake. Did the Running Man, you loved it. Kind of made me think of something. You brushed your blonde hair and kissed me out of nowhere.
I know. I love you.
I can still show you the spot where it all went down. Do you know they already paved over this area? Seems kind of strange for a crime scene. Maybe it's because they don't want anyone taking any fake blood and trying to do DNA with it. Oh, and just a reminder, that song is called Unforgettable. Kind of like that's probably the most unforgettable thing that has ever happened to this generation of kids that they're trying to traumatize like they did to me and people my age with 9/11. But I'm sure the writer of that song is a really good guy. And they made sure that he celebrated his 33rd birthday in the news. And oh, guess when his birthday is? March 30th, or 3:30, people. But of course, all of this definitely isn't predictive programming. It's all a series of coincidences. Entertainment only. Come on. Special thanks to my wife, who all she had to do was say, oh, like that song. And I knew. Kind of funny thing is that song has always been in my head because I could never remember that date at the beginning of that song. Guess I will now.
Yeah, and then the White House posted this tweet. The gun was pointed at him, but the bullet was aimed at all of us, from President Donald Trump. Yeah, we know, Donald. We know the guns are pointed at all of us. And that's what they're basically saying. See how they say it and people can't see it? Like, how are people not... How are these Trump supporters like... They're like, well, you know, they can't be in on it. Donald Trump's a good guy and Kash Patel and Dan, but no. If you don't get it yet, you're never going to get it. You might as well just turn off this video. You're too under mind control to ever get it. Not to mention all these conspiracy theories, as they just put on the mainstream media in the US, they're also antiseptic.
Disinformation expert Mike Rothschild and former FBI and CIA Special Agent Tracy Walder. Great to have you both here. Mike, how do these spread? And by the way, why are we seeing so many anti-Semitic conspiracy theories right now?
Well, as I wrote about in one of my books, all conspiracy theories essentially have a hint of anti-Semitism, and all anti-Semitism is based around conspiracy theories. It's very natural for an unexpected traumatic event like Charlie Kirk's murder, caught on camera in front of hundreds of people, instantly broadcast around the world, to send people spinning off into wild theories of what happened, why it happened, who did it. We had no idea for almost 2 days. That is a petri dish where conspiracism and paranoia are going to grow. And everyone is going to latch onto a different theory based on whatever your own personal beliefs are. Whatever you wanted the shooting to be, for that, it was you. And it spreads instantly on social media.
By the way, Mike, should we trust you? Aren't you a Rothschild? Aren't you behind everything?
I am a Rothschild. I'm not one of the Rothschilds. If I were, I would be living on my yacht and counting my paintings.
Okay, great. Because I thought that was a room on your yacht. I was mistaken.
When I first heard that all conspiracy theories are antiseptic, I thought, oh, that's being like kind of, yeah, that's exaggerating a bit. But then I was trying to think of any like really big conspiracy theory that doesn't actually involve like the Jews / Khazarian, these sort of people. And actually, there's not many of them, so he's kind of right. But there's a reason that all these conspiracy theories always talk about these same people, because it's always the same people doing all these things. You got Kash Patel now. He just put this out. FBI Director Kash Patel to work with Democrats, Representative Jared Moskowitz, to combat anti-Semitic conspiracy theories on social media platforms. Do you get it yet? And one of the big things that Benjamin Netanyahu came out and did like a full week of "we didn't do it" videos and interviews. Ben Shapiro was out there making sure it's crazy. You're crazy if you think somehow Israel could be involved in this. And it's pretty funny because what they're saying is like, you know, that's crazy. Well, here's a list of all the assassinations carried out by the state of Israel for like the last 100 years, and it's not a short list.
So I want you to take a look at this post by Jake Shields. And then down in the comments, you see Alex Jones come out in defense of Benjamin Netanyahu, claiming that, well, maybe it's because you didn't have anybody claiming you of committing a murder or an assassination. Well, let me just throw some things on the screen here for you. And let's just take a look at the amount of countries that Israel has been involved with in assassinating. They literally have an entire Wikipedia page dedicated specifically to assassinating citizens. Check this out. So here we are in the 70s. Now watch this, it gets crazier. It's like the amount of assassinations are accelerating, and it's like France, Germany, Norway, Lebanon. And then if you scroll over to the right, you can start to see it's Mossad, it's this, killed in a hotel room, killed in a car crash, killed in this, killed in that. Mossad. Now we're in the 1980s. Let's get back over to this side. Beirut, Lebanon, France. And like, is any country off limits? Mossad, executor Mossad. Mossad, Israel Defense Force, IDF, question mark, not sure we can claim that's Mossad, okay? Now we get into the 90s, you can see all the countries, Turkey. All right, so now we're in the 90s, Brussels, Spain, Lebanon, France, Malta, Gaza Strip. So they're gonna say, oh, they're only killing people, they're only killing Hamas, Jordan, right? At what point does America wake up? And now we get into 2000, and then this is where it really starts to get crazy. I think it just said 72 killed between 2000 and 2005. Watch how long it takes me. This video, I should like actually speed it up here, but I just want you guys to see how crazy this shit is, because it took me, I was scrolling in 2000, like, is this gonna end? 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 Nope. And like I start rapid scrolling here for a minute because it's like, what the fuck? I had no clue there was this many assassinations. So
yeah, it's so crazy that when some political figure gets assassinated, how could you even think that possibly Israel could be involved? Well, did you know? I didn't even know this. So I was looking up political assassinations and stuff, and someone sent me this around the same time. That time when Mossad agents tried to blow up Mexican Congress. Everyone over the age of 10 at the time certainly remembers where they were when they first heard about that time when a pair of Mossad agents were caught red-handed snooping around the Mexican Congress building carrying guns, explosives, hand grenades, and Pakistani passports. One would have to be in a coma to have missed the 24/7 wall-to-wall flood-the-zone news coverage of this peculiar and shocking foiled attack planned for just 1 month after 9/11. For those of you who take everything literally, that description is sarcastic. The event was real, of course, but the news coverage of it was positively USS Liberty-esque, meaning a total blackout in the U.S. CNN did run a brief banner headline about a foiled terror plot of unknown origin and very short legs even in Mexico. Let's fire up the time machine for today's lesson in Zionist false flag terror and the astounding capabilities of Zionist censorship which enabled it internationally. The following summary is based upon data obtained from the limited early reporting of the Diario de Mexico newspaper and the subsequent independent and investigative journalism of Crónicas de Levante and La Voz de Aztlán. On October 10, 2001, 1 month after the Israeli-engineered false flag attacks of 9/11, 2 Mossad agents, Sar Noam Ben-Zvi, an Israeli, and Salvador Gerson Smek, a Mexican-Israeli, were caught with weapons, explosives, and detonators in San Lorenzo, the Mexican Legislative Palace. Also in their possession were Pakistani passports for the frame-up. The suspicious duo were surprised and apprehended by a group of sugar unionists present at the Chamber of Deputies and then handed over to authorities. The head of Congressional Security, Salvador Alaran, verified that the Israelis were carrying automatic weapons, grenades, cables, explosives, and detonators. Immediately, top-level Israeli diplomats were sent to Mexico by Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon. An emergency closed-door meeting involved then-Mexican Foreign Minister Jorge Gutman, a Zionist Jew, General Macedo de la Concha, with ties to the Zionist-run U.S. Pentagram, several unnamed Israeli envoys, and more. The following month, the infamous dancing Israelis of New York, New Jersey were also quietly released after 40 days captivity. What bizarre power did these people have over high officials? And this goes on quite a bit further, basically describing it. Yeah, I'd never heard of that, had you? I don't think anyone heard about it. But so typical, there's a reason. There's a reason that Jews, Zionists, whatever you want to call these people, have been kicked out of 100 countries 1,000 times. Because they're always doing stuff like this, and they're basically doing it again. Because they now control basically all of the U.S. government with this Charlie Kirk thing. It's interesting, too. I actually looked up how many Mexican presidents have been Jewish. There's actually been 2. There was one in 1988, Carlos Salinas. Well, that's interesting. I actually might know someone who knows him. But there was one in 1924 to 1928 called Plutarco Elias Calles. And if you look it up, Elias Calles, president of Mexico from 1924 to 1928, did not personally try to kill Catholics, but his administration's aggressive anti-clerical policies led to significant violence against Catholics during the Cristero War of 1926 to 1929. So a Jewish president of Mexico started a war with the Catholics. And it says, while Calles did not explicitly order a genocide or systematic killing of all Catholics, his government actions led to targeted violence on Catholics. So there again, a Jew becomes president in Mexico and basically starts trying to kill all the Catholics, which is basically everybody. Everybody who's not Jewish. And now there's a new Mexican president who's Jewish, Claudia Sheinbaum. It's incredible. But there is some positives to all this. And I noticed this as well, but Richard Gage of Architects for 9/11 Truth, great guy, spoken in Acapulco numerous times. He posted this, and I basically had been saying the same thing. It took most Americans years, I'd say decades, to start questioning 9/11. It took them months to question the COVIDs. It took weeks to question the October 7th in Gaza. And it took days to start questioning the murder of Charlie Kirk. The era of blindly trusting authority is over. And that's what I'm saying. People are starting to wake up. This is going to get so interesting. This apocalypse is so interesting. And he mentions how it took, I would say, decades for people to wake up to 9/11. For me, it took a couple of years, I have to say, so I was a little slow too. With the COVIDs, he said it took months for people to question it. I was questioning it within about 2 days. That's about how long, and within about a week or two, I knew what was going on. I knew they're going to bring out the lethal injections to kill everyone. Then they kicked me off of YouTube. Then he said it took people weeks to question October 7th in Gaza. It took me less than 24 hours. I had obviously, clearly, it was very obvious that was not what they said it was. And he says it took people days to start questioning the murder of Charlie Kirk. For me, it was a couple hours. So I'm a little bit ahead of people still. But the great thing is, I see so much of this stuff, so many comments of so many people who don't believe a lot of this stuff, but they don't get the big picture yet, that they're all in on it. Now, if they do, this could get very interesting. And that's why they're continuing to do all these things. And I also think that they'll probably do something even way bigger now, because too many people are waking up. And they have to do another major event to distract from it. And Drum roll, please. Let's go to Wolf Blitz in the Situation Room. What's going on, Wolf? Yes, Chef, breaking. U.S. Counterterrorism Center warns of Al-Qaeda threat. The U.S. National Counterterrorism Center has warned that Al-Qaeda remains in active danger, citing new calls for attacks on the United States. Yeah, here we go again. Of course, Al-Qaeda is the CIA. This is very well known by anyone who's looked into it at this point. You had Laura Loomer coming out and saying the Muslims are going to attack again. Of course, she's a total shill, just like all of them. And Sam Tripoli posted, just remember the last time Loomer said a false flag was coming, Texas suddenly was flooded out of nowhere that killed 100 Christian children on July 4th. Yeah, so I expect something pretty big to happen very soon. We'll see, though, because they're losing control. This apocalypse is we're getting down to the good part now, where a lot of people are starting to figure it out. I think it'll be so hard for them to figure out the full thing because, in general,
you can't handle the truth.
Most people will not be able to handle understanding what's actually going on. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll see what happens. But getting back to Charlie Kirk and his funding and stuff like that, Charlie Kirk's longtime top donor was Jewish billionaire, what a surprise, Robert Shillman, who cut off funding days before Kirk's death. That's interesting. Shillman was a major benefactor of Kirk's organization, contributing millions to Turning Point USA over the years. This financial support came with strings, as Shillman often pushed for pro-Israel neoconservative stances within the Kirk's conservative movement, stances that often conflicted with the America First principles Kirk publicly championed. Shillman grew frustrated with Charlie Kirk's increasingly vocal criticism of Israel and his unwillingness to exclude figures like Tucker Carlson from TPUSA events. Tucker's CIA, though. Bibi Netanyahu reportedly applied near constant pressure on Kirk to toe the Zionist line. Shillman also funds, drumroll please, Tommy Robinson, who's clearly a paid-off Zionist shill, Laura Loomer, who's clearly a Mossad agent, Jack Posobiec, who's clearly a CIA agent, Ben Shapiro, who's a Mossad agent, and the entire Daily Wire network. Ashkenazi Jew Ben Shapiro allegedly donated $1 million to Turning Point USA after Kirk's death. Shapiro said, "We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it." These people are so sick in how they do things. And here's all the people who are all paid off by basically this Jewish billionaire. But no rest for the wicked. Right after their giant 8-hour-long psychological operation memorial, Donald Trump rushed off to the United Nations to tell them that he wants to bring in a Palantir-style biometric digital ID for everyone in the world.
I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it could be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that.
Yeah, and then after that, Marco Rubio met with former al-Qaeda commander Syria's Ahmad al-Sharaa. Yeah, that guy used to be ISIS, which is CIA, which is what I've been saying all along. Now they've installed him as the president in Syria. And now in Syria, they're actually doing what looks like a genocide of Christians.
وأيضا نطلب من أجل حفظ هذه المدينة وجميع الأديرة والمدن والقرى من السخط والجوع والوباء والزلازل والغرق والحريق والسيف ومن غارات القبائل الغريبة ومن الحروب الأهلية والموت الفجائي ومن أجل أن يكون إلهنا الصالح والمحب البشر شفوقا ورؤوفا ومتعطفا ليصرف ويبعد عنا كل سخط يثور علينا.
Yeah, while that's going on in Gaza, here's two Australian doctors who are basically saying that everyone, like it's absolutely brutal. Everyone's starving and everyone's being killed. And they mentioned that 80% of their patients are children and pregnant women, which is basically what I've been saying since this all started, that half the people in Gaza are children. If you just divide up the rest, then 25% of the rest are women. So 75% of the people in Gaza are women and children. And that's basically what these nurses are saying and how unbelievably bad this genocide is.
Here's Dr. Nada Aburog and Dr. Saya Aziz. We're two doctors from Australia. We're here in Gaza at the moment. We arrived in the middle, in Al-Aqsa Hospital first, where the situation was disastrous, where we're having kind of kids coming after a strike. With most of, like, let's say, 70 to 80% of our patients are kids and pregnant women. And the situation was terrible, and there was no water, no food, and people living in the hospital everywhere. It was very common for a person to be the only survival of their family. Everyone has lost most of their family. It was very hard for us to get in, and there was a lot of restrictions. We were not allowed to bring any baby formula, any money, and the cards don't work. We are hardly surviving and hardly able to help anyone. There's no equipment. They're down to the very basics, running out of working scissors. There's no soap in the theatre room to scrub in, no gloves, nothing at all.
Yeah, no one's even paying attention to that either. You notice that? It's just completely not talked about. The Epstein stuff's gone away. Just had this wonderful 8-hour memorial by the US government and the CIA and Mossad for the Charlie Kirk psychological operation. Meanwhile, the peace president, Donald Trump, who said he was going to stop the Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours once he was president, just posted this. After getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, and after seeing the economic trouble it's causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. In any event, I wish both countries well. We'll continue to supply weapons to NATO for NATO to do what they want with them. Good luck to all. Yeah, so much for that 24 hours to end that war. Now he's fully backing Ukraine, which is basically, they're all controlled by the same people. They're killing everyone in the Ukraine. That's another genocide. How many genocides can he do? And people can't even see it. Meanwhile, he's at the United Nations. He's like, I don't know why I'm not winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements.
Meanwhile, back at the memorial, Donald Trump, he's just up there just rambling on. He's like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. Is that what a funeral looks like? And then he says that, they got some big news they're going to come out with. They found out what causes autism.
And tomorrow we're going to have one of the biggest announcements, really medically, I think, in the history of our country. We're going to be doing it with Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we found an answer to autism. How about that? Autism. Tomorrow we're going to be talking in the Oval Office in the White House about autism.
Oh yeah? What causes the autism? Trump officials are reportedly set to tie Tylenol to autism risk. Yeah, they basically said Tylenol. It's obviously the vaccines. They did bring up a little bit that it could be kind of like if you take the vaccines too fast or something like that. Total BS, but they actually have to say some of that stuff because people are like, you have to say like a little bit of something true every now and then. But that was their big news. No vaccines have been taken off the market or anything, but just, tone it down. If you're going to give your baby 90 lethal injections, give them 1 or 2 a day for like 3 months, because otherwise you might get that autism. It's incredible. And why do people take things like Tylenol and stuff like that? Well, it's for things like pain. I don't know much about Tylenol, but it's so incredible. That's another big pharma sort of product. All these things are, and all of them have bad effects. I wouldn't doubt it at all if Tylenol also causes like autism, even though it doesn't really exist in what they say it is. But we actually have I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
All these people are talking about the vaccines they need to survive and how they need things like Tylenol for their pain and stuff like that. And all these things basically make them sick or kill them or put nanotech into them. But we actually have plasma. And I'm still like the only guy talking about it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like, this is the biggest thing in our lifetimes. Like, getting back here to my plasma bath has been so incredible. And then going in my hyperbaric chamber afterwards, like, I feel like I'm on ecstasy like every day. But it's so much more than that. It like heals almost everything. It cures almost everything. It gives you incredible energy. And your average person has no idea. It's incredible. Like, here's just a few people from the Tesla Club. Juan Carlos. Hello, Tesla Club. Greetings from Colombia. First-time Tesla user, and my old friend Juanes said, "What the Fukushima is this machine?" He used it on his knee for 15 minutes, and his lifetime pain was gone completely. Then my brother Rodrigo used it on his left shoulder, and his forever pain, too, was gone around 70%. He'll use it tomorrow first thing in the morning. And then Victor said, "Hey all, my name is Victor, and it's been a month with my new Tesla machine, and I'm finally posting my first testimonial. I've had a hernia for about 10 years, and I never wanted to get surgery because of the horror stories I've heard. Haven't been to a doctor in over 15 years. Good idea. Over the last year, the bulge by my groin has gotten so big I push on it when I cough, sneeze, or laugh for fear of it popping out. After the first session, I woke up the next day and it felt like it had shrunk by 50%. After using it consistently for a month, I'd say it's already 80% or more down. My wife has also been doing it almost as frequently as I have. She's had bleeding gums for over 5 years. When she brushes or even touches them with anything, they bleed profusely. After a week of the Tesla, she says she has no bleeding at all. None. Zero.
Zero!
Thank you, Jeff, for all that you do. Truly a gift to humanity." Then Kelby said, "I'm going to write out another long testimonial. I just came back from a weekend camping music festival and my Tesla machine came along with me. We camped for 3 nights away from home, so I packed up my machine, which he calls Oz. Everyone names their machine. It's kind of cool for the occasion. The first morning before the festival, I was up early and walked alone down to an empty coastal beach with my coffee. It was quite meditative. My inner dialogue concluded I've quit drinking alcohol and I no longer partake in party drugs, even at music festivals. Everyone in my group and most of the festival are massively partying all weekend, but not me. I have my Tesla machine. I'm not sure if this has happened to anyone else, but after my long walk down the beach, I set my machine up in my tent. I laid back and meditated with the bulbs in my head for 40 minutes. I experienced a psychedelic connection to source during my meditation, similar to DMT. I was overwhelmed with peaceful, happy, euphoric bliss, and it lasted all weekend. The entire weekend I was able to achieve this super meditation, and afterwards I felt like I was on ecstasy. It was the first time for me being at a music festival and not feeling a need to party with the poison everyone else consumed, and I'm feeling great. The Tesla is a whole new level." Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Like, being in my plasma bath today, and then I get in the hyperbaric afterwards, it feels like I'm on ecstasy. And I actually haven't had the bulbs on my head for 40 minutes like he has, but I know people who have, and they've said similar. They have like a DMT-like experience. Like, the plasma is so incredible. And no one's even talking about it. It's unbelievable. I hear people, it's a scam or it's light bulbs. It's like, are you listening to any of these testimonies? Do you think I'm making these all up? Because I'm not. If you get in the club, you'll see all these people are doing all this stuff. Or do you need to see like video of it? Here's a guy who, I don't know if this is like his aunt or his friend or something like that. And she, within a few times of using the Tesla, has numerous major things. She couldn't close her hand before, now she could after one session. Her doctor said she couldn't run anymore. She wasn't able to because her feet were so bad. And now, after a couple sessions, she runs 3 miles 3 times a week. And she's 75 years old, by the way. That's pretty awesome. And all of her pains that she's had for like decades are all gone.
Okay, this is my friend, our friend Penny Logan. And we just used the Tesla machine probably for like the 6th, I don't know, so many times. Maybe like 6 times, right? I don't know.
I don't know, more or less.
More or less. We just used the Tesla machine, and we're just going to go over some of the things. Have you tell me what you've used?
First time he did it, see, I was kind of skeptical. The first time he did it, the next day, I made a fist. I have not been able to make a fist with this hand for 3 years or more. And all of a sudden it happened, and I just started crying because I actually made a fist. But I also have very bad varicose veins, and I noticed they weren't so bad. They were getting bad. I thought, well, maybe I'm making that up. But when I made a fist, you can make that up. Now this hand, if you'll notice, I cannot bend that finger. So Tommy's working on that. Now I can bend this joint, but I can't bend this joint. So now that's what we're working on. See if we can get that to bend. But also I had a podiatrist tell me I'll never be able to go barefoot. And I can't run. I've been running 3 miles, 3 times a week. And
so you've been able to walk, it's more comfortable now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I can't get up off the floor because I've broken my feet and broken my toes. And when you get off the floor, you have to push up. I can't do that. So it's really hard for me to get off the floor. I have to get off the floor with my heel. Well, now my feet will bend. My toes will bend.
Now, didn't you say when you lay on your stomach that your feet don't have to be flexed?
I can't lay on my stomach because my toes can't stand that bend and when you lay on your stomach. But now it doesn't hurt me.
Okay, great.
And another thing I noticed, this past week we've had a lot of rain, and usually my fibromyalgia just can't stay. I can't sleep at all because I hurt all over, and I slept right through it. And the next day, Greg said, "Well, you had rain, didn't you notice?" I go, "I slept right through it," and that's happened more than once. So
yeah,
so that's a surprise too because rain just makes my whole body just hurt all over and ache.
Yeah. So you also told me the day after you used it the first time, you said, "Tommy, I actually slept last night."
Oh yeah,
and that's not me.
And I'm a terrible insomniac. So, and my brain just says, "You got 100 things you can do. Why are you wasting your time sleeping?" And usually I go to bed and sleep, and this hurts, and that hurts, and this hurts, and that hurts. And the first time he did, of course, I hadn't had sleep in 3 days, but the first time he did it, I slept all night. And not only sleep all night, the next morning I got up, I felt invigorated, and I got a lot done. And then also I thought, I feel like I need another nap. I thought, well, just take a nap, because I never take a nap. I thought that'll last 5-10 minutes. I took an hour or 2 nap. So I get up, and then I work again, and I felt like taking another nap. I took another nap that day. Now it hasn't held on now because I'm back to 5 hours of sleep, but maybe I only need 5 hours of sleep. But 2 and 3 hours of sleep, I need more than that.
Yeah. So tell me about your varicose veins. Did they used to hurt on your legs?
Oh yeah, my varicose veins. With each pregnancy, the veins would get worse and worse, and finally they came up to the top of my leg. And they look. Do you want to take any pictures of them?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. They're really ugly. My legs are more black looking, and that's blood, than they are white. And I'm a white woman. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, I had surgery on one to make the veins go away, and instead, what happened was it looks like a knuckle under my skin on the other side of where he did that surgery, and those are starting to go down. And the pain, excruciating pain that comes up, it feels like somebody's going like this to your body. That's going away too.
Okay.
And they're getting less. Now I still have them, but they're less. Okay. So when you said you were going to be gone, I thought, no, I need Tommy. And when it gets ready to lightning, I know it before the lightning hit. My husband's a meteorologist, and he can't stand it that I know when the lightning is going to hit before he does, because my body feels a charge, and I slept right through it. So
sounds good.
So I really am going to hope that somehow I'll see you in the winter sometime.
Sounds good.
Winter cold might be not too, and I'm 75 this month, so but I'm taking care of 3 invalid people in my home, and I have to stay healthy, and I want to stay healthy, and I love Tommy.
Thanks. Okay, thanks for your thoughts.
Well, thank you, Tommy, very much for helping an old lady feel better. I'm so appreciative.
You're welcome.
And I hope your mommy gets to see this. I love his mom.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the world I live in. I see all this crazy stuff. I just laugh at it. And I've got a plasma machine, and I'm like doing the work. I spent about 4 hours today in my spa doing the work, meditating, my plasma bath, my hyperbaric chamber, my massage chair, and just looking at all this stuff going on, which is all just insane. But so many people are all caught up in it. No one can actually see what's actually really going on. Hardly anyone. Maybe you can. Maybe a few people can. Not many can. And most people have no idea, and they're all getting sicker and sicker from all the stuff they're doing to them with the chemtrails and stuff they put in the food. It's all poison now. And they don't even know plasma exists. It's incredible. But you do. You might want to check it out, tesla.club. And you can just go in and get the brochure and fill out a questionnaire, because actually it's a private club, so they want to make sure just decent people join it. And if you pass that, you can actually go into this open house and you can be in there for a few weeks and you can see all the people with the machine will be talking in there and all the questions will be answered and stuff like that. It's pretty incredible. And yeah, it's so bizarre to be alive during the apocalypse and all this crazy stuff's going on and most people can't see it, but I can kind of see it. And I know about things like plasma and hardly anyone else does. It's so incredible. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. This is way too long of a video. It's so hard to keep up with all this stuff. But if I didn't do this video, if I waited a few days, it'd be pointless. Most people would forget everything that just happened. It's kind of pointless anyway. Because most of the people who watch these videos, they pretty much get it anyway. So I guess I just kind of do it for fun, maybe for some entertainment purposes for you, getting banned everywhere, and we'll see what happens. But we're having a good time here. This guy's having a good time. This is what I'd rather be doing. Papa. Oh, he's fuerte. Eres duro. Eres duro. Oh, it's fuerte. It's fuerte. Yeah, he's not lethally injected. And we've given him the plasma a few times when he's not feeling well either. He's gonna be a superhuman. Let's go find Apples. She didn't stick around with us too long. Well, there you are, Apples. Yes, I didn't come along. I put on a lot of weight while you were gone. That's pretty sad, actually. But I'm really glad you're back. Maybe I'll try to get back in shape. Maybe you can get me on that Tesla machine. I don't know. Oh, watch out. We got a little fighter here. Watch out. He's pretty dangerous with that stick.